Yup, I'm a quitter. But before you go, oh, another one of those Gen Z quiet quitters that just want to have fun and not want to do anything real important with their lives. Hi, my name is Kat, and I gave up a 6-figure salary in tech to move to Seoul, Korea as an English teacher. And although I partly did it because of fun and self-discovery, I've had a lot of important realizations along the way, and today I wanted to share with you why I decided to make the move over, what you should take into consideration if you end up doing the same. And at the end, I might interview a couple of other people to see why they also decided to make the move. So make sure you stay to the very end and hit that subscribe button if you feel like following along in my journey here in South Korea.
I think we need to start talking about 9 to 5s.
Hello. What do I think about the 9 to 5? I think that if you are working in a 9 to 5 and you enjoy what you're doing, all the power to you. But I think there's a reason why most of my friends at the age of 29 to 30 are still living with their parents and don't have houses yet. And a lot of them have just given up on buying a house because the state of the world economy is going to... I think the reason why a lot of people don't enjoy their 9 to 5 is because it's such a monotonous thing when you don't feel like you're growing and you're progressing in your life and your career, which is exactly how I felt. I didn't feel like I was moving forward in what I was doing, and I have big dreams. They can't be achieved with just a stable 9 to 5 job. Don't get me wrong, I think Canada is honestly a great place to live. There's a lot of reasons why people are leaving Canada because a starting home in Vancouver is almost close to $1 million. So how can you even afford anything anymore? Sorry, I think there's too much background noise here, honestly. Let's just go somewhere else, quieter, shall we?
I want to first set the scene. It is the beautiful Hangang River with my beautiful kimbap that I got for $1.50 per roll and my unmatching socks. Yeah, okay, now you're not gonna unsee that, frick. Teaching was actually something I've always wanted to do in the back of my head, but could never really do it because if you become a teacher, you're not gonna get like a crazy salary. Like it's not gonna be anything close to a stockbroker or a business owner or an accountant even. So that's why I was really scared to go into teaching for the longest time because I thought that was just something that I was gonna do after I retired. Like I would go make my money in tech, save for retirement, and then after I retired, I would be able to teach and do the thing that I actually kind of enjoyed. But the more and more I thought about it, it didn't make sense at all. Because if I truly felt like teaching was my calling, why is it just because of money am I putting off my calling until I retire? If I meant to bring up our next generation, then why am I withholding that from the kids until I'm like old and gray? I've kind of come to terms where if I was going to be poor anyways, I might as well be poor and enjoy what I'm doing. And for someone who's kind of like single and still in their 20s, it was kind of a perfect opportunity to go out and discover myself before I settled down in a stable job with a husband and kids. So it just made sense for me to do this now before I was just tied down to a lot of different things. Now let's talk about Korea and why I decided to come to Korea. If you look at the top 5 countries that pay English teachers the most, Korea I think is number 5. Out of the top 5, I think it was like Dubai, Qatar, Japan, Korea. Out of the top 5, I just felt like I would personally enjoy living in Korea more than I would in the United Arab Emirates, just because Korea was somewhere I kind of always wanted to visit anyways, and I didn't get to visit so far. I took that chance and now I'm freaking loving life. There's just so much to love about Korea. There's palaces, food, hiking, mountains, and something I loved doing recently was doing humboks with my friends. Like that was just such a pretty cute experience.
Okay, we out here.
In 2024, just
But,
like it's 1804.
I don't know. Let's do it. Oh my gosh, let's see the fits.
Is this the video?
Do a twirl, yeah. Dude, you look so good. Oh my gosh. So I'm crying. I feel like my daughter's in graduation or something. This is the outfit of the day.
Love the fit.
Pants, or sorry,
Skirt.
skirt from the Chosun Dynasty.
Yes.
Yeah, so like we're out here, we're gonna take some photos with the cherry blossoms. It's gonna be a good time. Let's go.
Let's do it.
My friends keep asking me, oh Kat, when are you coming back to Canada? And I'm telling them like, bro, literally I don't know if I'm ever gonna come back. I'm having too much fun right now. Like it's just gonna be so hard when I go back, realize my boring, uneventful life back in Canada. I'm very thankful. I think Canada's a great country. But you know, in my 20s where I'm having adventures, I'm discovering myself, like Canada is like a settle down type place. It's like where you have your kids and a family. Seoul is like where you discover your passions, okay? Something I really like about Seoul is that it's very artsy. They have a lot of people in music, arts, dance, singing, like art and beauty are something that Koreans are very proud of, and so you'll see a lot of it here. So for me, one of the biggest reasons I came to Seoul was actually because of the creator space. So I enjoy doing videos like this, and I feel like where I live in Canada, there are not a lot of creators. Just being here 6 months, I've already made so many connections that share the same passions that I do for video creation that I have literally made in my last like 20 years of being in Canada. And it's so cool because I finally get to connect with people who can understand the grind of putting out these videos and being consistent, and that has made my experience so worth it.
Just flat. Please edit that.
Why? But it looks so nice though.
That's what everyone thinks when they first see it. Once you keep looking at it, you're gonna hate it so much. It's like, look at this,
color.
dry,
Yeah.
flat, desaturated, detail-less. It's so weird.
And I'm posting it straight in S-Log. This is the start of my S-Log only channel.
If you're at all interested in becoming an English teacher in Korea, that is like the easiest way to come to Korea if you do want to start a new life. I have made a separate video on that and how you can get over here. I'll link it up there somewhere. But I wanted to show you kind of clips about how other people felt about moving to Korea and becoming an English teacher. So I went to this English teacher congregation, kind of just get to know each other dinner, and I thought it would be fun to kind of interview some of the teachers and figure out what their experiences were like and why they chose to come to South Korea. So if you're interested, let's roll those clips.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Hello, could you introduce yourself, your name, your age?
You want people to be talking to you or to the camera? I'm assuming to you.
To me. All right.
Am I like facing you?
Or like be like, hi, I'm Janessa. Yeah.
Tissue.
Oh, here, I can take that. So what's your name and what's your age? Where are you from?
So I'm Ian Matthews. I'm 22 years old from Texas.
So I'm Kobe Van Slegren. I'm 24 years old and I'm from Washington State, the United States.
My name is Karen. I'm 35 and I'm from Ireland. Amore. I'm 30.
Where are you from?
South Africa.
So my name is Jonathan Yan. I'm doing good.
Okay, so like what made you decide to come to Korea out of all the other countries?
I saw that it was the easiest to come to Korea compared to a few other countries. Additionally, there's this concept of the I think it's called the 4 Asian Tigers or something. There's 4 countries basically that are very industrialized and very friendly towards Western peoples, especially for somebody from the States, those being Taiwan, Japan, Korea, and I want to say Singapore. I might be wrong. But out of those 4, the one that was the most enticing for me was Korea, partially because it's easier to teach at a private academy here than in Japan.
How come? How so?
It seems from my very little research about Japan's academy program, there's a lot less openings, it seems like, and they're also just not as talked about. Whereas for Korea, it's really easy to find a lot of listings or to go through recruiters. They are asking for a lot more teachers here, it feels like.
Did you research into any recruiters here before coming here?
I did a little bit of researching. The moniker of the recruiter that we went through is actually really fortuitous for them, because if you literally just search teaching English in Korea, it's the first one that pops up because that's their name, which is really funny. Obviously, there's a plethora of different recruiters in Korea. I didn't do that as much research as I should have, but I've had a good experience so far.
Cool. So why did you decide to come to Korea to teach?
So I was a teacher back home. And in South Africa, teaching it's good, but it's really stressful. You have about 45 kids per class. You're teaching 9 different subjects.
Oh, wow.
The curriculum is packed with like too much things, and there's not enough time, and it was really stressful. So I was teaching for about 1.5 years, and I was like, no way, not doing this. And kids have a much better attitude towards learning, and they actually want to be at school, so it's much better for me. Yeah.
What made you decide, do you have a bachelor's in education?
So I actually have a bachelor's degree in physics, and my last semester of college I realized physics wasn't really for me, but I still kind of wanted to do some teaching. I had a friend who she taught at a Hagwon and gave me the idea, and I was like, why not give it a go? And here I am. Yeah, no, I did a lot of research, and I knew I liked working with kids, which I've noticed in my time here so far. That's the more important part of the job. If you don't enjoy working with the kids, then it's just too much work. But yeah, it's been so much fun though. Back in high school and a little bit in college, I'd started learning some Korean. I don't really know any. I totally forgot, but I had a basic foundation. And like I said, I had a friend who did that. I know Korea kind of paid a bit more, and you were the main teacher, not like an assistant teacher like Japan.
How did you get over here?
Put me in touch with a bunch of Facebook groups where there's just so many applications all the time, and I found Teak through that, and then they gave me the interview. It was actually my first interview I had, and I had a list of things I was looking for in the school, and it looked perfect, and I did research on the city I was going to, and I loved it, so I signed.
So it was my last year of college or university, however you want to put it, and I didn't know what I want to do afterwards, and so I applied on his website, and I was like, it'll be a fun thing to do, give myself a year to figure out what I want to do. So that's basically.
How was the process coming over here?
I just literally typed in how to teach English in Korea, and his website popped up, and I clicked, and he was super, I watched all of the videos. He was super helpful, and then I think I had a couple interviews with a couple different schools. In my 3rd interview, the director who hired me was like, yeah, we'll take you immediately.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. What made you come to South Korea?
Well, it's always been a place that I've been interested in teaching in, because I've been teaching for about 10 years. Teaching in Egypt for 4 years. I taught in China for 3. I taught in Ireland adults for 4 years in Northern Ireland.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah. So how does South Korea compare to China and Egypt?
Well, it's very, very easy to live here in comparison to Egypt. Egypt, you need to know a bit of the language, but here you can get by very easily only on English.
You've been teaching for 10 years. Did you get your undergrad in teaching?
I did my degree in tourism in Ireland, and then I did a TEFL certificate in Egypt. It was a 4-week residential course at the time.
What made you decide to go into teaching?
Well, I remember at the time, because I did tourism, I always wanted to travel, and then teaching English kind of fit in perfectly with what I wanted to do and see the world.
Oh, okay. Did you go through a recruiter?
Yes, I did. I came with teaching
teaching English in Korea.
Oh, no way!
Well, I found them very, very good because I looked at other recruiters before that, and then I was very unsure about the job offers, and then I noticed a big difference in the job offers that I got with this company as opposed to the other companies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Were they like the salary difference, or like
yes,
what
the
was?
salary difference, everything. So I was reading on the internet, like there's a lot of shady schools, and I found that this was a very good safety net. So I went through 2 recruiters before, and the job interviews, I don't know, I just felt very iffy about them. But with the 2 job interviews I got for this company, I felt that I could see the difference even in the people I was speaking to for the interview.
Oh.
They seemed to really care about the teaching.
Oh, wow.
So I'm Janessa. I am currently 24 years old, and I'm originally from Canada.
You're from Canada?
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Why did we never go over this? We're in Canada.
Are you Canadian?
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
I'm from Manitoba.
Oh no, I'm from Alberta. Oh my god.
Ooh, we don't like each other.
Did you also have to fly to Vancouver or like Toronto to get your visa done?
For the visa, no. I had to mail all of my stuff in to Toronto.
Bro, I had to fly to Vancouver 2 times.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Yo, I mailed all of my stuff in.
Bro,
I'm in Korea.
Did you
Yeah.
mail your passport over?
I mailed my passport over. I got the tracking and everything.
That's what I was like, I couldn't do that. I was just like, no way could I mail my passport over. So I just rather would have flown. So I flown.
No, that's fair. I also had previously applied for a visa and I'd mailed my passport in and it was fine. So I was like, I trust it. Like,
why did you choose South Korea out of like all the possible Asian countries?
Money. No, well, any kind of research, even just like informal research, it's always like the highest ranked country to go to. Not even just as far as Asian countries, but just like being a TEFL teacher. They're like, South Korea, South Korea, South Korea. Like on paper, they'll like take care of you. They'll like pay for your flight and set up accommodation and blah, blah, blah. So it just like seemed like the safest option.
Being a teacher, or like, why did you get into teaching?
No, it kind of, so I was an English major when I did my undergrad, and everyone was like, oh, you're gonna be a teacher, obviously. And I'm like, no, I don't want to teach. Like, I hate the concept. But I said it so like aggressively without having experience that I'm like, okay, I should at least try it before I actually say no. So after I graduated, I moved to Spain and I worked as a language assistant, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. So then I got my TEFL, and now I'm here working as a teacher. And
cool. Did you go through like multiple interviews before you found the one?
I did.
Oh, really? How many?
Well, it was interesting because I was like, I think this is pretty standard to like interview around and da-da-da-da. But by like the 5th interview, they're like, you've interviewed for 5 places?
Bro, yeah.
And I'm like, am I not supposed to? And he said, why didn't you accept the first one? And I was like, I don't know. So I interviewed for like 5 or 6 different places.
Whoa.
And by the 5th or 6th, they're like, what's wrong with you? Like, why aren't you taking a place? And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
you just, have more options.
Yeah. And
that makes sense.
Yeah. I didn't, but apparently it's abnormal. Like, normally,
it is abnormal,
the first one they interview with, they'll like give you the contract and done deal.
Yeah.
I was searching for the dough. I can't even lie.
Could you have negotiated between?
Well, here's the thing. So the one I ended up picking, I picked it because I could negotiate. So a lot of the other ones were like, they were doing a pretty like base pay standard, first year teaching, whatever. But the last person I interviewed for, they really saw the Spain experience, and they're like, oh, like we see that you have this experience, so we would be willing to. I was like, well, in that case, I do have this experience. I am a good teacher. I was lying through my teeth. That was totally false. And he's like, well, in that case, like I'll actually offer you this much. And I said, okay. And I signed with him like the next day.
Always lie on your interview. No, I'm just kidding.
I did lie. I wouldn't recommend it, but I did.
Oh, 8, 8, 6, 6, 5, 5, 1, 1, 5, 5.
One thing I want to say, I get choked up whenever I say it, and this may be a bit soppy to some of you, but you don't understand the impact that you have on kids' lives. And this is a funny story, it's true. I was on the subway going from Bucheon to Seoul, and this beautiful young girl goes, Mr. B! And I was like, no shit. And then I realized She was one of the middle school girls that I taught like 6 years earlier, and she said to me, Mr. B, you know, the reason I studied English literature at university, she was a first-year English literature major, and she said it was because of you, because I wanted to talk to other foreigners, I wanted to be able to speak to other foreigners, and it was because I loved her class. And I literally teared up, and I was like, you don't realize the impact that you have on kids' lives. You don't get that catharsis moment every time you teach, right? But at the same time, all of you should realize that you do impact these kids' lives. And so every day that you think about, like, shit, my job is hard. No shit, your job is hard. You're an English teacher, right? And I know, I was an English teacher for 7 years before I became a university professor, right? And I did the exact same thing that you do. So I give props to you. There's a lot of work that's involved. There's a lot of shit that you have to do. And I'm sorry, you can delete that part. But you know, I've had those moments where I realized that I did really impact these kids' lives. And so I just want to say thank you from my heart. Thank you for doing your job well, for trying hard. It's okay. And also, I just want to say again, thank you guys very much for coming tonight. I really appreciate that.
Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stick around, oh my gosh, there's so many bugs. Get out of the way. Oh my gosh, there's so many bugs. Thank you so much for watching. And if you are interested in following along my daily life in Seoul, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to make better and better videos each time, so your like and sub is greatly appreciated. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys later. Bye.